Have you ever encountered a door being shut in your face, only to discover that it was the best thing that could have happened today? Let's delve deeply into the art of turning the tables against rejection, inspired by the Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius. Imagine being in a world where every no doesn't knock you down, but propels you forward. Rejection, a word that often brings a sting, can become your cornerstone for greatness. It's not about tricking fate, but understanding that sometimes the universe says no as a hidden yes to something greater. If you're feeling neglected, ignored, or underestimated, it's time to change the script. In this video, we'll explore 13 powerful lessons that teach you to harness the power of rejection. We're not just talking theory, these are real-world practical strategies you can apply in your daily life. Welcome to another reflection from the Surrealstoic channel. If this is your first time on my channel, please help me by subscribing and liking the video so I can continue creating more content like this in the future. Let's get started. Lesson number 1. Ignore it when you encounter life's indifferent coldness. Don't let yourself be shaken. Go beyond simply by not giving importance to those who neglect you. This isn't being petty, but rather a robust affirmation of your own worth. In moments when it seems like the world is turning its back on you, the best response may be to move forward without being affected by others' indifference. Instead of letting yourself be beaten down by those who choose to ignore you, opt to ignore them as well. This attitude isn't a display of pettiness, but rather a way to reaffirm your self-esteem and personal value. By choosing not to react to indifference, you're taking control of the situation and keeping the focus on what truly matters, your own growth and happiness. This doesn't mean acting with pettiness or spite, but rather recognizing your own worth and investing your energy in areas that truly deserve your attention. Lesson number 2. Don't allow emotions to take control. Dealing with rejection can be painful, but Stoic principles guide us to adopt a thoughtful and balanced approach instead of letting frustration or sadness dominate our actions. Take a step back, breathe deeply, and take a moment to reflect on why this situation is causing discomfort. Instead of impulsively reacting to negative emotions, Stoic wisdom suggests that we pause and question the underlying reasons for our discomfort. Sometimes it's not the rejection itself that hurts us deeply, but rather the internal insecurities it may trigger. Therefore, when faced with rejection, take time to objectively analyze the situation. Ask yourself, why is this bothering me so much? Is there something deeper at play beyond the rejection itself? This introspection can help separate immediate emotions from the underlying root of discomfort. Instead of allowing emotions to govern your actions, this approach proposes that you maintain control over your response to rejection. It's not about suppressing emotions, but understanding that often the emotional impact doesn't solely come from rejection, but from the interpretations we give to it. This Stoic practice not only helps to deal with rejection in a more balanced way, but also promotes self-awareness and self-reflection. By taking deep breaths and reflecting, you're creating space to understand your emotions, identify thinking patterns, and ultimately cultivate a more thoughtful and centered response to adversity. Lesson number 3. Mentally disengage. Approach rejection as a valuable tool for practicing detachment. Allow yourself to feel the emotional impact, but don't let it imprison your thoughts. See rejection not as an insurmountable obstacle, but as a sign pointing towards unexplored directions and opportunities. When faced with rejection, it's natural to feel a range of intense emotions. However, the Stoic approach encourages us not to let these emotions monopolize our minds. Instead, we should process the impact of these emotions and then consciously release the need to dwell on the rejection. Visualize rejection as a detour on your path, not as a roadblock. Instead of interpreting it as an end, see it as an opportunity to explore new avenues and discover previously unconsidered possibilities. Consider it an invitation to venture down different paths, where you may find new goals and perhaps even encounter a more fertile ground for your personal growth. Mentally detaching from rejection doesn't mean denying or minimizing your emotions. On the contrary, It's a practice that acknowledges the importance of emotions but also seeks not to let them dominate our thoughts and actions. By adopting this perspective, you free yourself from the mental prison that rejection can create, turning it into an opportunity to grow and move forward. This approach not only contributes to emotional resilience, but also encourages the exploration of new horizons and possibilities, transforming rejection from an apparent obstacle into a guide to a richer and more promising future. Lesson number 4. Showcase your worth. View rejection as a challenge to your resilience. Instead of being disheartened, see it as an opportunity to display your action. Convert every negative into a chance to reveal your inner strength. When faced with rejection, there's often pressure to bow down to it. However, the Stoic approach invites us to adopt a different stance. Rather than succumbing to discouragement, view rejection as a test of your resilience and an opportunity to demonstrate your inner strength. Rejection, far from being a sign of weakness, can serve as a platform to showcase your determination. Instead of being shaken, use each no as a starting point to show your ability to face challenges head-on. Consider rejection as a spark igniting the fire of your resolution, leading you to overcome obstacles with even more determination. Transforming rejection into an opportunity to reveal your strength doesn't mean ignoring feelings of disappointment or frustration. On the contrary, it's an approach that acknowledges these feelings but channels them to fuel your determination and motivation. Each rejection can be seen as a springboard to show the world what you're capable of achieving. By adopting this mindset, you not only face rejection with resilience, but also position yourself as someone who uses every obstacle as a stepping stone to success. Instead of being defeated by the negativity of rejection, you stand out by transforming each challenge into an opportunity to showcase your inner strength and capacity for overcoming adversity. This posture not only strengthens your resilience, but also shapes a narrative where every no becomes a crucial step towards your greatest triumphs. Lesson number 5. Cut off contact. Silence goes beyond mere absence of words. It's a powerful emotional tool at your disposal. Opting not to react is not just taking a step back, but also a strategy to regain balance. Remember that your worth is not inherently tied to others' approval. When faced with rejection, the initial impulse might be to seek answers, to try to fill the void with words or actions. However, Stoic wisdom suggests a different approach. By choosing silence, you're not only avoiding an impulsive reaction, but also giving yourself valuable space to reflect and reassess the situation. Silence isn't a display of weakness, but an act of self-mastery. By abstaining from an immediate response, you're indicating that your self-esteem isn't at the mercy of others' opinions or actions. It's a subtle reminder that your value is intrinsic and unconditional. This conscious choice of silence serves as a strategic pause to rebalance your emotions. It allows you to take a deep breath, gain perspective, and distance yourself from the urgency of seeking external validation. Instead of immediately seeking approval from others, you're giving yourself the opportunity to validate yourself, recognizing your own self-worth and value regardless of others' responses. Remember that silence isn't a passive tactic, but an active strategy. By choosing not to react immediately, you're reaffirming your emotional control and strengthening your position. In this context, silence is a tool that empowers you to maintain calm and composure even in the face of rejection. This Stoic practice not only protects your peace of mind, but also reinforces your self-confidence because you're choosing to be the guardian of your own worth and emotional well-being. Lesson number 6. Prove them wrong. The ability to turn rejection into fuel for personal growth is a powerful tool of self-transformation. Instead of solely seeking to prove something to others, focus on showing yourself what you're truly capable of. Use every denial as a push to reach new personal heights. When faced with rejection, there's often an impulse to want to prove others wrong about us. However, the real magic happens when we direct that energy inward, using the rejection as a catalyst for our own growth and personal development. Instead of viewing rejection as a battle against others' perceptions, consider it an opportunity to surpass your own limits. Instead of seeking external validation, shift your focus to authenticity and self-improvement. Every no received can become a momentum for self-discovery, propelling you to explore your own capabilities and achieve feats you may not have known were possible. By transforming rejection into a vehicle for personal growth, you change the narrative focus. It's no longer about proving something to others, but demonstrating to yourself your true resilience and potential. Every challenge overcome becomes a personal victory, strengthening your self-confidence and feeding a virtuous cycle of self-development. This approach doesn't simply aim to defy external expectations, but rather transcend them through continuous self-development. Rejection ceases to be a barrier and becomes a springboard for your own personal growth. Every challenge overcome becomes tangible evidence of your resilience and determination, reinforcing the belief that you're capable of reinventing yourself and overcoming obstacles. Therefore, the next time you encounter rejection, see it as an opportunity, not just to prove something to others, but primarily to prove to yourself what you're truly capable of. Lesson number 7. Get out and have fun. The strategy of seeking joy is a deliberate approach to building emotional resilience after facing rejection. Instead of withdrawing and allowing the negative experience to overwhelm you, consciously seek moments of joy as a defiant statement against the weight of rejection. When confronted with rejection, it's common to feel the urge to retract and isolate oneself. However, instead of letting negativity prevail, the conscious choice to seek joy is a proactive strategy to counterbalance the emotional effects of rejection. This approach doesn't suggest ignoring or denying the feelings associated with rejection, but rather recognizing the importance of balancing those feelings with positive experiences. By consciously choosing to go out and have fun, you're challenging yourself not to allow rejection to negatively influence your mood or self-perception. The pursuit of joy isn't just a momentary distraction, but an active affirmation of your right to happiness regardless of setbacks. By engaging in activities that bring joy, you're reinforcing the idea that rejection doesn't determine your intrinsic worth. This strategy not only helps balance emotions, but also serves as an antidote to the tendency to close off after a rejection experience. By seeking joy, you're purposefully challenging the emotional impact of rejection, demonstrating to yourself that you're capable of cultivating positive moments even amidst adversity. Additionally, social interaction during these fun times can strengthen your emotional bonds with others, offering additional support during challenging periods. Seeking joy in this context isn't just a response to rejection, but a continuous declaration of your resilience and determination to find moments of light even when confronted with shadows of rejection. Lesson number 8. Build your social standing. Instead of seeking external validation, direct your focus towards personal improvement and active participation in the community. This approach isn't about chasing social ascent, but rather a journey dedicated to elevating your own ladder of development. When faced with rejection, we're often tempted to seek external validation to reaffirm our worth. However, the proposition here is to redirect this impulse towards a more authentic and lasting approach. Instead of fixating on gaining social acceptance, concentrate on strengthening your self-esteem and making meaningful contributions to the community. Personal improvement is the cornerstone of this journey, involving constant pursuit of learning, growth, and honing your skills. By dedicating yourself to self-development, you build a solid foundation of confidence and self-worth, regardless of how others perceive you. Active community involvement is another crucial aspect. Instead of superficially climbing the social ladder, seek ways to contribute to collective well-being. This may involve volunteering, participating in community projects, or simple acts of kindness that strengthen social bonds. This approach isn't about seeking popularity or superficial recognition. It's an authentic journey of self-transformation. By focusing on self-improvement and community engagement, you build a social standing grounded in genuine contribution and the positive impact you can create. The mindset here is less about ascending a conventional social ladder and more about elevating your own ladder of authenticity and personal growth. In doing so, you establish a solid foundation for your self-esteem and resilience, regardless of external evaluations. This approach not only strengthens your social presence, but also contributes to a lasting sense of fulfillment and purpose. Lesson number 9. Act as if they don't exist. Sometimes the most powerful response to indifference is quiet silence. It's not worth investing energy trying to grab the attention of those who choose to ignore you. Instead, redirect your focus to those who genuinely value your company. When we are ignored, the natural reaction is to seek ways to capture the attention of those who disregard us. However, the proposition here is to adopt a wiser and self-affirmative approach. Instead of expending efforts in futile attempts to gain recognition from those who choose to ignore you, opt for conscious silence and turn to those who truly appreciate your presence. The silence here isn't a passive response, but rather a strategic choice. By refusing to engage in a one-sided battle for attention, you're taking a conscious step back. This distancing isn't just for their benefit. It's an opportunity to recalibrate your own understanding of your personal worth. By choosing not to react, you're sending a clear message that your self-esteem isn't tied to external approval. This gesture speaks volumes about your self-mastery and self-valuation. It's an affirmation that you're unwilling to compromise your inner peace in pursuit of external validation. Furthermore, by redirecting your attention to those who value your company, you're building a healthier and more fulfilling environment around you. Investing time and energy in relationships that genuinely nurture and value who you are contributes to a more authentic and enriching social circle. This approach isn't about ignoring the situation, but rather choosing where to direct your focus and energy. By opting not to engage in a one-sided battle for attention, you're demonstrating self-confidence, self-respect, and a deep understanding of where your true value lies. This attitude not only preserves your inner peace, but also cultivates more authentic and meaningful relationships. Lesson number 10. Give them the silent treatment. Opting to give people the silent treatment doesn't just mean ignoring or distancing yourself. It involves a conscious choice not to reveal your internal struggles and battles. It's an approach based on preserving your emotional integrity, maintaining calm and composure, even in adversity. When we face situations where we are ignored or underestimated, the temptation to express our difficulties can be irresistible. However, the philosophy here is to cultivate a posture of self-restraint while strengthening your emotional stability. This silence isn't a sign of weakness or lack of response. It's a strategic tool to preserve your dignity and inner peace. By choosing not to reveal the challenges you face, you're communicating to the world that you won't allow your internal struggles to define your narrative or impact your self-image. This silence is, therefore, a conscious choice not to expose your vulnerabilities to those who don't genuinely value your journey. It's an act of authenticity where you decide not to share your challenges with those who don't recognize or respect your experience. Furthermore, maintaining silence in the face of those who ignore you is a way to reinforce your own emotional resilience. By not revealing your challenges, you're demonstrating that your inner stability isn't shaken by rejections or disregard. It's not about excessive protection, but rather a way to affirm your inner strength. Lesson number 11. Don't beg for attention. In situations of contempt or ignorance, the Stoic approach recommends avoiding begging for attention and instead anchoring yourself in your own worth and independence. Instead of desperately seeking recognition from those who neglect you, the proposal is to immerse yourself in your passions and interests with a mindset of self-sufficiency. When you are ignored, the temptation to seek attention to validate your importance can be overwhelming. However, Stoic philosophy proposes a more robust approach. Instead of relying on external validation, it's suggested that you deeply connect with your own passions, interests, and goals. Anchor yourself in your own internal worth, recognizing that your self-esteem shouldn't fluctuate based on the attention you receive from others. It's an opportunity to dive into activities and goals that bring you personal satisfaction regardless of external recognition. This attitude isn't about showcasing your accomplishments to force acknowledgement from others, but rather sincerely committing to your passions. Engaging in your own pursuits with self-sufficiency involves finding joy and purpose independently of external approval. Instead of begging for attention, cultivate a deeper relationship with yourself. Reinforce emotional self-sufficiency by acknowledging that your most significant validation should come from your own self-acceptance and personal fulfillment. This isn't a cold detachment from others, but a conscious internalization of your own worth. By acting with independence and focusing on cultivating your own satisfaction, you build a solid foundation for your self-esteem. This not only frees you from the constant need for external approval, but also strengthens your emotional resilience in the face of others' indifference or rejection. This approach, anchored in self-sufficiency, isn't a rejection of recognition or connection with others, but a conscious investment in building a solid and centered self-image. By not begging for attention, you rise above the dynamics of seeking external validation, consolidating a foundation of self-esteem that transcends the fluctuations of social interactions. Lesson number 12. Be kind but emotionally distant. When faced with indifference, the Stoic strategy suggests responding with kindness while simultaneously keeping your emotions guarded. This approach isn't an indicator of insensitivity, but rather a deliberate choice to preserve inner peace. By choosing to be kind in the face of indifference, you are in fact opting not to be swayed by turbulent emotions. This doesn't imply becoming cold or distant, but rather establishing healthy emotional boundaries. Maintaining a warm attitude, offering a smile, politely greeting, or expressing well wishes are ways to respond with kindness. However, the crucial part of this lesson is the need to maintain a certain emotional distance. This means that while you choose to be kind, you don't allow others' emotions to deeply affect your emotional balance. Instead of absorbing others' indifference and letting it negatively influence your state of mind, you decide to preserve your inner peace. Kindness in this context isn't an emotional transaction, but rather a gift you offer yourself without expecting anything in return. By being kind, you're demonstrating respect and courtesy, while simultaneously keeping your emotions in a protected space. This is crucial to prevent others' actions or attitudes from shaking your emotional stability. This approach doesn't suggest suppressing emotions, but rather consciously managing them. By responding with kindness, you're not ignoring your own emotions, but choosing not to let them be controlled by external events. This emotional distance is an exercise in authenticity and self-control. It's a practice that allows you to interact gracefully while maintaining your emotional integrity. By being kind yet emotionally distant, you position yourself as someone who offers kindness without being affected by others' behavior. Therefore, this lesson encourages cultivating a compassionate approach while also protecting your inner peace. This not only contributes to healthier relationships, but also strengthens your emotional resilience in the face of indifference or rejection. Lesson number 13. Do not reveal your struggle. When faced with indifference, the Stoic approach recommends that you do not disclose the challenges you may be facing. This doesn't mean you should pretend everything is fine when it's not, but rather maintain composure as a demonstration of true inner stability. This lesson stems from the understanding that it's not always necessary to expose your battles to garner support or understanding. Instead, it suggests that you can preserve your emotional privacy by avoiding making public what is happening internally. By choosing not to reveal your struggle, you are protecting your vulnerability. This doesn't imply hiding your emotions, but deciding whom to share your deepest feelings with. Not every situation requires a full disclosure of your emotional struggles, and internal stability is often achieved by maintaining a certain reserve. Keeping composure isn't an attitude of indifference, but a conscious choice of how to express your emotions. This involves not succumbing to the pressure to reveal personal details at inappropriate times or in front of people who may not fully understand. Internal stability refers to emotional firmness that isn't easily shaken by external circumstances. It's not about denying the existence of challenges, but facing them with dignity and restraint. This posture isn't a facade, but an emotional shield that protects your integrity. By choosing not to reveal your struggle, you are setting healthy boundaries for emotional sharing. This doesn't mean you should face everything alone. Rather, it suggests that choosing the right people to share your struggles with can be more beneficial than making every detail public. Additionally, this approach involves a conscious assessment of the context. In some situations, it's appropriate to share your struggles for support and understanding, but in others, maintaining emotional reserve may be wiser. In summary, not revealing your struggle isn't about hiding the truth, but choosing when and with whom to share it. This attitude preserves your inner stability, allowing you to face challenges with courage and dignity without compromising your emotional integrity. Remember, every rejection you face is a step toward resilience, a lesson in Stoicism to channel your inner strength. Apply these lessons in your daily life and transform rejection into a tool for success. Thank you for joining this reflection. If this content resonated with you, share it with those who may also benefit. Leave your comments below, sharing your experiences and insights on this topic. Until the next reflection here on Surreal Stoic channel, I wish you a journey of great evolution. Until next time.